How do you kind of find the right markets to do this type of strategy? Because for people like me, we can't do it. And I know people are going to listen to this and be like, I can't do pad splits. So how do you kind of pick that market?
Yeah. So you ever hear how Burger King, their marketing strategy? Have you ever heard of it?
I think so, but let's talk about that.
So the short version is they just copy wherever McDonald's goes. McDonald's spends like millions, billions of dollars on marketing research, and then essentially Burger King like tracks it, and then they try to get as close as they can to those locations.
Wow, that I mean, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense because
Yeah.
there's always a BK like around the corner.
And
Okay.
anyway, you can look and see where PadSplit. I mean, ultimately, you can do it wherever, but PadSplit shows you where the heavy markets are.
Welcome to the Mission to Wealth podcast. I'm your host, Tim Yu, and I got my awesome friend Dustin on here. He's a full-time real estate agent, and he also invests in some co-living. So today we're going to do a deep dive on one of his properties and also talk about the benefits of using PadSplit to list your rent by the rooms. So let's get after it. Dude, so introduce yourself, man. Tell everybody what you're about.
Yeah, so full-time real estate, my background, I went to undergrad supply chain management out in Hawaii. Then I went to grad school in Miami. I have a master's in finance. And then as I got to see like all the different, ways people invest, then I came across real estate. It was a no-brainer. So that segued into uh, getting my license, just to have more stronger understanding, more credibility, especially when negotiating deals, like creative deals.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, we buy mostly in Central Florida, like Kissimmee, Orlando, Port Orange, New Smyrna, and currently our main focus, our main buy box is no HOA properties that we can use for PadSplit.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. So how long have you been a real estate agent?
So officially an agent, a little over a year. Yeah, like 15 months or something.
Were you an agent for a while before you started diving into like creative finance?
No, so even though Pace doesn't recommend it, I was in Subto first, and honestly, I was a little overwhelmed. And I was like, I'm at least gonna know how to do regular real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So I in a month, I just cranked it out. That was all I did. So I got the regular real estate license, and I was like, okay, I understand this. And then I was like, now I can tackle the more complex stuff. That's just how I did it. I'm not saying it's the right or wrong way. But yeah, once I understood like how to look at it through the lens of regular people, I was like, okay, now I can explain the more complex deals and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. It's interesting too, because obviously a lot of us investors talk to a lot of different real estate agents, and most real estate agents don't really understand creative finance, so it's kind of tough to explain. Do you find it a lot easier to discuss creative finance with other agents because you're licensed?
Yeah, honestly, it gives me a massive edge, is what I have found. Because especially now as Sub2 keeps growing, agents like low equity deals, for example, they're getting bombarded with whether emails, calls, whatever, texts.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as they find out I'm an agent, they're like, okay, what the heck is this? What is everyone talking about? And I'm like, yeah, I do deals like this all the time. Here's the title company. Here's their number. Here's the rep I work with. And so when I can do that and show all that to them, they definitely hear me out.
Are you saying that I gotta go get my realtor license now, or what?
I'm saying I don't regret it by any
Yeah.
means. I
Are
get,
you still doing transactions on the real estate side or real estate
oh,
agent
no,
side?
I've never done retail. I got it for the pure credibility.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
so, yeah, and I figured too, like raising private money, it would also help on that side,
Yeah.
especially like someone sees, oh, it's a lot younger than me, 10, 20 years younger than me. Why should I trust this guy with, you know, my capital, like partnering or anything?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's like the license will help.
Okay, so real estate agent, never done a retail deal,
No, I'm
just did it for the credibility. That is incredible, man. Okay, let's talk about why. So I know you got a financial background. So like, why did you get into real estate specifically?
yeah, because I mean, like I've studied a lot of different alternatives. So like the stock market, very very familiar with that. The bond market, and then when understood, I saw the opportunity, like the leverage that you get with real estate. That's when it clicked, because it's like if you're gonna get rich in the stock market, it's dollar for dollar. I mean, you can use margin and stuff, but the leverage effect that you get on a property, especially like I'm in Florida, for example, so I always reference data from Florida, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these properties are going to double in 10, 12, 13 years. And it's like, I bought this as a sub two deal, and it took me, I think I used like 30K or something to get into it, 25K. And then if I put that 30K though in the SP 500, it's like, it's not even comparable what it looks like
Yeah,
in 10 years.
100%. And I'm guessing this deal you cash flow and stuff like that as well, right?
Our other ones, and then the one I live in right here is a sub two deal.
Okay.
So
Wow. Okay. So your private residence is a sub 2 deal as well.
it's a VA loan.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. I love that.
Yeah, I
I
got it.
love
We
that.
moved in it March. It was
Oh,
a,
wow.
it was a low equity deal,
Yeah.
and he like zero equity. And it was an expired listing. The wholesaler brought it in sub two, and then yeah, he used the 0% down VA benefit that he had, and then he wanted to move closer to his grandkids. But since it was literally no equity at all, he would have to cut a check for like 20 grand if he sold normal.
Mm-hmm.
But alternative, I gave him 10 grand.
Yeah, it's a $30,000 swing right there.
Yeah.
Incredible. What was his interest rate?
This is a 4.5.
Okay, so guys, he has a 4.5% interest rate and he moved in this March. If you bought a house back in March, it would have been like 6 to 7%.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's pretty gangster. Man, okay, dude, let's get into the juicy stuff. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's talk about your pad split deal, the one that you were just talking about, or you could talk about any pad split deal you want to talk about. But
Yeah.
what's the best one?
One is the one that we're doing in Port Orange.
Okay.
Because the main reasons it's exciting, it's a sub two deal that we bought, is a failed Airbnb. And then it's 15 years into the loan.
Mm,
So the principal pay down is,
yeah, I like that.
and then it's a 3.25% interest rate. And so currently it's a 3.3, and then we're turning it into an 8.3. And
Okay.
then our our net is, it looks like it's gonna be like 2 grand.
Per month.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how did you find the deal?
So the same thing with this one as well. I found it from another wholesaler in sub two.
Wow, so it looks like you got some killer deals from the Subto community, just of
Yeah.
wholesalers in the group.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've gotten a handful of deals by like two of them. Two of the pad splits I got, another wholesaler already had it, and then I found like my broker, he's in sub two and he's my capital partner. So by
Got it.
finding the deal,
Yeah, I was just
I
about to
get
ask you. I was
I
like,
get
were
equity.
you are you forking out your own cash or are you raising money?
So I brought in private money. My broker, he's in sub two and Gator and Walt. And so yeah, he's retired. We're using his self-directed IRA. So I hunt him down, and then he funds the capital. And then we have another partner that's really good at rehabs. Like he's
Mm.
about just under 60. And so he oversees that part. And then yeah, I got a good rhythm down, good system.
Is he a rehabber only in like the Florida area, I'm guessing? Like that's his like
I
niche.
mean, he's retired. Like he has about almost 50 properties.
Okay.
He likes it, and then he hires the people. So at the moment, we're sticking to Florida. Like it's just casual work for him. And so right now we're sticking with Central Florida just because we have a really strong network here that
Yeah.
it's just easy to plug and play.
Yeah, it seems like that you have a pretty well-oiled machine down there. And I want to like stress this to the people listening is you have a capital partner, you
Mhm.
have contractors, and then you have you that's like probably underwriting, finding the deal,
And then we have a property manager.
property manager, and how many units do you have, or how many properties do you have under your portfolio right now?
So total property 7.
Okay,
And
are they all pad splits?
no, 2 are pad splits, and then the others are regular rentals.
Okay.
So, but moving forward, everything will be like co-living, pad split.
Yeah, you're just like 100% of a fan right now, right?
Yeah, because it's like as long as you do it right, like older neighborhoods, no HOA. Those are the two main ingredients to like that way the city's not like breathing down your neck or any type of authority. It's like just stick with the neighborhood that's at least like 10, 15 years old, probably. And
Okay.
no HOA, not even if it's like $1 a month.
Yeah, because they can just change the rules on you.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to do a pad split or a rent by the room, but obviously, like my market's Louisville, Kentucky, and they're super restrictive to anything, over three people in a house or whatever it is. It becomes like a boarding home.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of find the right markets to do this type of strategy? Because for people like me, we can't do it. And I know people are going to listen to this and be like, I can't do pad splits. So how do you kind of pick that market?
Yeah. So you ever hear how Burger King, their marketing strategy? Have you ever heard of it?
I think so, but let's talk about that.
So the short version is they just copy wherever McDonald's goes. McDonald's spends like millions, billions of dollars on marketing research. And this is what I've heard from at least some really good, credible people. I don't know how factual it is, but this is what they say. And then essentially Burger King like tracks it, and then they try to get as close as they can to those locations.
Wow, that I mean, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense because
Yeah,
there's always a BK like around the corner.
yeah.
Okay,
So they
holy cow.
here. And
Okay.
anyway, you can look and see where PadSplit. I mean, ultimately, you can do it wherever, but PadSplit shows you where the heavy markets are, where they're paying 6 figures a month in PPC marketing, like targeting rent by the room, like Google searches room rental.
Mm,
So there's core markets that they're already in. So that's my recommendation is like
okay.
just padsplit.com, and you could see there's like 16 or 20 major cities that they focus on and they
Okay.
advertise.
Do you think it's going to be oversaturated anytime soon, or is it just a booming industry, you think?
So this is also why I got into real estate. So in grad school, I studied very, very closely the banking system. And like everyone hears about inflation, but it's like when you really dig, it's like, why do we have inflation?
Mm-hmm.
Do we need it? No. But there's reasons we have it and it's not going away. And anyway, the reason I mention it is because the middle class is shrinking and there's nothing on the horizon that is going to reverse that. And so ultimately, yeah, I do believe co-living, rent by the room is progressively going to be becoming more demand because the cost of living is outpacing wages, like on the long-term trends. Like they call it the dollar, they call it a fiat currency. And
Yep.
this has been around thousands of years. So it's the same pattern and it's the middle class shrinks, they print money, and the cost of living only becomes more difficult for the common person. So yeah, I think co-living is only going to
Yeah,
increase.
I agree with you 100%. I think the first thing to go is short-term rentals. I got a lot of friends out there that are Airbnb people, and they'd be revolting hearing about this, but it's just, co-living, rent by the room, pad split, whichever name you want to pick. It's super cash flowy. Like the investor makes a lot of money,
Yeah,
and you're letting someone live in a house for $400, $500 a month.
yeah,
You can't find that. Like in Kentucky, all my rentals are like 1,200 and up now.
yeah.
And I would love to do rent by the room, but if the city's hearing this right now, let me do it.
And then Florida, the average set Jacksonville's a little saturated because a ton of inventory hit.
Mm-hmm.
Part of why we're sticking with Central Florida. but the average room in Central Florida is about $800 a month.
Holy cow, bro.
So
And do
like,
they get rented out too?
yeah, if anything, we're picky about who we let in because we want to just keep longer tenants. So we like the property manager, she does it. She'll interview and just say, hey, like, what are you up to? What's going on? What's your story? And so they are making new changes too. I need to refresh on what it is, but I know if they stay below 3 months, this is as of a couple weeks ago, but if they stay below 3 months, they're penalized to move.
Oh, so they're incentivizing longer stays.
Yeah.
Okay. So since we're on the topic of PadSplit, can you kind of tell the audience what it's about, how it works?
Yeah. So in short, it's a house. The typical people that are staying there, they're renting by the room. A lot of them are younger, whether it's they're in college grads, just doing interns or internships, or it's someone that works at like Amazon fulfillment center. Like they work a lot. They don't need to spend $2,000 on a one bed apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And they can get a fully furnished, very nice room, all utilities included, like everything for $800 a month. Like Orlando, for example, it's in Tampa, they'd pay pretty close to $2,000 for a one bed, one bath all the time they have utilities and everything.
Yeah.
But instead they can get a room at like share space, like the kitchen. They're paying $800 a month.
Wow. Okay. And then what does PadSplit do for you? And like basically, what are your responsibilities as a PadSplit owner? And then what does PadSplit deal with?
Yeah, so ultimately they pay they they pump out a lot of money on marketing. So like Google SEO searches and stuff, like they're showing up in the top 3, top 5, especially certain cities of like if someone looks room rental. So A, they're marketing. B, they're helping you vet the people. So it's like they are, now I don't remember verbatim the exact criteria, but they are looking at the person, their history, like background check kind of thing. And then they're also qualifying their income, like they're checking that as well to seeing what they can afford with you. And so if someone ever makes it all the way to us, PadSplit's definitely looked them through. And then what's really great though, a lot of property managers, you can get a property manager on for your PadSplit $300-$400, and they do everything.
Wow.
And when I said like the true net on all these PadSplits that I see, all the data is $1,500 a month, and that's including the property manager. It's like a
Nice.
true net.
Wow.
So it's like, and they do a lot. So you could make 1,900, but you're probably spending several hours a week, like any messages, maintenance, anytime someone moves, you got to change the locks, schedule cleaning. These property managers, they do it all. So
Oh, wow.
you can be
Okay.
truly passive with it.
I love that. Okay. And then obviously you can buy like a 3 bedroom house, 3 bath, and you have to create bedrooms.
Yeah.
These bedrooms are not like legal bedrooms, right? For
Um,
appraisal purposes.
so some lenders are becoming like Coast to Coast Mortgage is one of the bigger lenders that are like purposely, I wouldn't say branding themselves with pads, but they're making it known, hey, we cooperate with this.
Got it.
So I think it's definitely evolving. And then yeah, with you're turning certain rooms, or like you're turning, for example, we turn the living room into a bedroom. As long as it's not like load bearing walls and stuff, you don't have to do permits. But if it's anything structural or bathrooms, you definitely need to be doing permits.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then at least 1,700 square feet and higher. So so ideal property, like if you're hunting for one, is probably like a 4.2, 2,000 square foot, and then you can easily turn that into like a 7, maybe an 8.
And then a bonus would be like a garage, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so one of them, especially if that garage, for example, has a private entrance, our Orlando property, the average room rate is like 195, but the garage is a 2-car garage. We turned it into like a suite It has its own bathroom
Nice.
and private entrance. And then instead of paying $195, they're paying it's either $280 or $290 a week.
Holy cow.
So if you can turn it into a suite and it makes sense, like they have their private AC.
So
It's
it's
big.
like he's got his own pad.
He's living like king.
My gosh. That's sick. Do you guys do like Wi-Fi too and stuff?
Yeah. All of it. Everything.
Dang, man. Okay. So, man, I'm trying to think because like I got so many questions myself. When you guys buy this, right? And if you ever plan to like refinance, obviously we kind of talked about coast to coast mortgage,
Mhm.
but I know there are people out there that have tried to do this with like hard money. You know, they borrow this money, they go buy the house cash, they renovate it and make it into a pad split, and they have issues trying to refinance it out. What do you like? How do you recommend people kind of go down that route? Because some people just don't know how to structure a creative deal and they have to buy it cash.
Yeah. So from what I've noticed is it reminds me of the due on sale. Like everyone, that's usually the number one question when someone hears sub two, right?
Yep.
And we both know there's not one answer, but many answers to fix it. So I've noticed the more I've dug in terms of the refi, stuff like that, is it's really just finding the lenders that are familiar with it. And you could definitely get it done. It's just a little more effort to find who those lenders are. But if you have the right network, you could find them pretty easy.
So basically, connect with the right people. Someone will know a lender that will refinance out these loans.
Like for example, one of our strategies that we're gonna do probably in Q1 next year, just really for also documentation purpose, you can buy turnkey pad splits. Because obvious question is, all right, why are they selling it? But
Yeah.
some flippers, they realize that, hey, if I just do a little bit extra, I could sell this at a premium than if I did a normal flip. They take the time to stabilize it. So they're selling a cash flowing asset. So some people, it's their entire business model.
To just flip houses and make them into co-livings and they just don't want to manage it. They just sell it off.
Well, because they're making a lot. Yeah. So it's some people, they do it like that. And anyway, like when I log into PadSplit's website right now, I could probably find 50 for sale right now. And the reason I mention all this is because there are lenders that realize that, and you can buy it with a DSCR.
So you can buy houses on PadSplit as well.
You do need to already have host access to see that, but yeah, they're definitely out there.
Jeez.
We're gonna buy one of my partners for sure, probably another one. We're also really into business credit.
Yeah, me too.
So when I had a one-on-one call at Pace, and I was like, hey, I know most people, if I ask this question, oh, it's too risky. What are you doing? I was like, do you see anything wrong with buying a turnkey pad split with business credit? And then just all of the cash flow goes to pay the business credit off. Like, you're not taking any. He's like, no, absolutely. He's like, that's what we're doing with PMLs. It's just instead of a PML,
It's a credit card.
Yeah.
100%.
So in January, the reason I'm saying January is because one of the LLCs I have it with a partner. It turns 2 years old, so we're probably going to use the Wells Fargo block.
Yeah, love that. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the one where you can like collateralize a property, right? And then they give you like a gigantic line of credit.
Maybe I'm still learning more about the blocks, but
Yeah.
I know once you get 2 years old, you can do up to $50K, no tax return subbing with Wells Fargo. So
Their like higher tier blocks is pretty crazy, man. Like if you bring a property that has like, let's say like it has a lot of equity in it, you collateralize your block with a house, they will give you like X or something like that.
no, I'm glad you told me that because we have a condo in Kissimmee that we didn't buy creative, and it has like 80K in equity that we're trying to figure out how we can access it.
Okay, yeah, there's something to look into because there was a pair of women. They were like they're lenders, right? That's like their whole business. I haven't forgot their names, man, and I don't want to squirrel the podcast, but like,
Okay.
but these girls used the block on one of their properties, and that's what jump started their lending business because they got like $1 million of line of credit, and they started like farming out all their cash.
No, we'll have to talk more about this because I know Jack McCall really well.
I'm very curious to hear about, all this stuff because I was just talking to somebody yesterday on my show. She's a lender as well, using business credit to lend, and it's like I'm trying to tell people, like, you can do so much with business credit, and it's so accessible.
Yeah.
It's more accessible than you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially if as long as you're just planning ahead, like any money you're accessing, it's okay. Ideally, I pay it back like this, but what are my fallbacks? And really, as long as you keep your personal score clean, there's always an answer.
You're good. Yep.
Yeah.
100%. Okay, so we're coming up at the end of the 30 minutes. Is there any advice that you would like to give people, just starting out, wants to do their own co-living PadSplit?
Yeah. The best is to just partner with someone that's already doing it and then figure out a way that it's a win-win, like each person adding value where everyone is coming ahead in the end. Because I know the first one's the hardest. So like, I know my business partner and I were actually building a model around that because we realized how many people the first co-living is very intimidating. And so we're partnering with a lady at PadSplit actually as well. And we're all working together to like help everyone get that first one. And that could look like many different ways, scenarios, but that's the best thing is find someone at PadSplit, for example, that works that you like how they work, personality, and then just start asking them questions like, hey, who can I partner up with to do a deal in this city? Or who are the contractors or agents you recommend to help find a property?
Amazing. Okay, that's really good advice because it does seem like a very gargantuan task to take on a co-living project.
Right.
Just the idea of like adding rooms
Yeah.
stresses people out, including myself. So I really appreciate you sharing that.
You're welcome to come check it out.
Hey, I'll fly down there.
Yeah, Daytona Airport's 10 minutes from it.
Oh, wow, that's a killer location.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I like to do at the very end of the show is I like to ask you, the guest, what you got going on, what big things are coming up on your schedule that you want to promote or talk about, and let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, definitely. Best place to find me is Instagram for sure. And then we are the partner I'm working with primarily. We are helping, essentially our whole business model is helping people get their first PadSplit. And the way that dynamic looks will be different per scenario. Yeah, Instagram, my Mount Everest, what we're doing with Pace and Owners Club is 75 co-living properties by December 31st, 2028. And so we're really building out that team. Like I'm starting to interview the operators. I'm really building the system out so that we can safely scale it and help people get that first property.
Amazing. I love that, brother. Hey, we're going to put the Instagram handle and all that stuff down in the description. So if you're looking for your first PadSplit co-living property, give this man a follow, give him some love. And dude, Dustin, I appreciate you coming on the show, brother.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Talk soon.